What's up, everyone? We are back with the halftime show segment, the last one of the day, because we're getting ready for our last game of the day. But before we get into the halftime show segment, I want to capitalize and talk a little bit about the game, because there's some interesting moments in the mid-game there. Both Gabby and Cubby, y'all saw that CLG were actually starting to turn around some fights before Fear eventually closed out the game that we kind of expected them to finish based on the early game.
I gotta say, when you see Soraka plus Cho'Gath and decide to play Lee Sin LeBlanc into that, that is sending a message, playing around the two silences. That is definitely mental damage that's trying to be dealt from CLG. The all-in early game strategy didn't work. Props to Kevy and Copy, though, on some really creative team fighting. I think really shows how strong CLG as a team is as a team, given how close they were able to play out that game when I thought it was really doomed on the scoreboard. So, well done.
And the other thing, too, I want to throw this one your way, Gabby, is you were also getting caught off guard by just how potent some of these flanks were from Copy on the LeBlanc, and then just the cleanup team fighting from CLG's backline. In that, you know, Senatom Kench, it's still kind of a scaling factor the later the game goes on, you know?
Yeah, but I think a lot of it, and being impressed by the way they were playing, was that denial, right? So those flanks by Copy and immediately targeting Trevor and Manui and just taking them out of there. That being said, Covey pointed out, kind of felt like this was Fear favored even before that, but like to see that scrap to Holden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as we're getting ready for our second game of the day, we still have some time to kill, which means it's our last halftime show segment of the day, and this one is Run This Stat, but it's a special Cubby edition.
Ooh.
Why is there a smiling imp on there?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now, as I bring up these
I'm worried about
questions,
it.
I will be waiting for your responses. So, in this case, I will be, you know, drinking my tea and my coffee, or whatever drink and beverage
Where
you have.
is this photo even from? That's... Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was the where... Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Don't worry
okay.
about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that
bring
was the
up
old
the
headset.
first question here, Jay, as let's see what we got here.
So you're pretending. So I'm like...
This
between
is
two of the
how
same.
Cubby collects stats on, you know, he's just got his his mug in one hand and just running through. At 14 minutes, this player was 1-0-3. Who was this player?
Perry.
Let's see.
Okay.
Is it a correct answer? No, it's a incorrect answer. Oh no.
Oh.
You're incorrect, Cubby.
Okay. Well, I mean, is it just me guessing? Did we get Gabby out on this?
No. Now, Gabby, you gotta.
Okay.
Do you have a guess for who this player is?
Was it
I don't like this
Shochi?
segment.
At this point for CLG,
Oh, it could have been.
yeah, Kevy was up, like I know after
What'd
the
you
first
say?
two plays.
Who'd you say?
I was saying it's Shochi for Fear's mid laner.
No,
No!
it's not Shochi either. But it is someone from
Maybe it
Fear.
kills.
It's someone,
Yeah.
because for CLG they were making plays over on the top side, and then
Was
I
it
think
Trevor?
Yeah, it was
There,
Trevor.
hey.
Nice.
What the heck?
Now, Cubby, to continue on the Trevor train of thought, do you remember what team he subbed in for last summer?
It was, in fact, in my notes, and I was going to bring it up in the next draft, as it was C9.
Woohoo! We got to get the other positive give. Let's go.
quite the
Oh, not
collection
Dude Lambo.
here.
That's not me. That's Dude Lambo. Come on.
Wow,
Yeah.
impressive arsenal of photography.
It's you know, Rafa, he loves his camera, you know. That's what I'll
These
say.
aren't even my camera, bro. This is like collected from the scars of the internet, and it goes well with our bully Cubby propaganda theme today.
Yes, thank you.
See, I don't think it's
I
bullying.
appreciate
I
it.
think-
I'm thrilled.
I think you
Well,
look great in all the photos.
Exactly.
You're just showing
Oh.
off.
The thing is we are showing multiple facets of Cubby, because when on broadcast, it's usually like, all right, level-headed, you know, analysis, game face on all the time, but you get to see the multiple emotions of Cubby.
What about
Wow.
podcast Cubby with the wine and sitting back on y'all's couch with
That's
the
a good
blanket
one.
over the lap.
I do like that one.
I should have
Yeah,
grabbed that
that's-
one another
yeah.
time. But we do need to move on to our second question. Copy has played LeBlanc 2 games this split. How many games has Copy played LeBlanc in his entire career? This is including 100 Thieves Next.
I don't have career stats on me, but I'm going to guess around 20 because his LeBlanc's really good. So let's go with 22. Played a lot of games.
Yeah, let's.
No, it is not.
I mean, I am I close? Can we get a hint at least for Gabby?
Oh, Gabby, what answer do you have?
Over or under? At least tell Gabby that.
Yeah, over under.
Under.
Under? Okay.
19.
Oh man, no. But
how close were
Gabby,
we?
you're closer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're closer. Gabby.
I was seeing if I could sneak in, find
Was
out
it
with
20?
one hand on my other monitor, but I couldn't.
No. It's okay. When I said it's still less, it's still less than what Gabby predicted.
17? I don't know.
Okay, we're let's just reveal the answer. It's only 10 as of today.
Oh.
Actually.
Oh, I'm way off. What the hell?
Now, what is his overall LeBlanc career win rate, including today's game?
70%?
68. Oh, 7. Oh, you got it.
the money, Cubby. 70%.
C's get degrees, baby.
Let's go.
His LeBlanc's good, you know?
Yeah, nicely done. Wow, right on the money.
I mean, I had a 1 out of 10 guess, but that does seem like a face, you know, I'd
Oh
make.
yeah, why did I say 68 when we knew it
that was taken on my way out the door to cast my first LCS games. So, you know, we were this guy put on Rihanna because he was on a big Rihanna kick. So that, you know, that was the...
Was that Super Bowl inspired?
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
for
yeah.
sure.
She killed that performance, man. And while pregnant with a pregnant belly, too. Anyway.
She did great. Yeah, she was great.
Last
yeah.
question. Who has the following stats so far in their career? 20.6% damage share, 4.2 KDA, and the third highest kill percentage of their team.
You said career. Is that the split?
No,
or is it career?
This is split.
I know the answer.
You know that you're not gonna say it, the answer?
Well,
I don't know the answer.
I actually don't know the answer anymore.
I'm the play-by-play. You're the color.
I'm gonna go. So I mean, 20% damage percentage. That's around where I'd expect a top laner to be. So I'm gonna go with Faisal.
I think that's good. Oh.
Nope. It is not Faisal.
I mean, I will say third highest KP. That is kind of tough.
I actually know this, but it's because I had a tab.
Oh.
Gabby?
Use it.
It was
Do
already open. Manui.
Yeah! Nice! Let's go. It is Manui. And I think it's interesting
I had to
because
flip it.
it's, you know, we'll get into the specifics later. I want to see, bonus question, what are their top 3 most played champions this split?
Well, I also have the tab for that.
Yeah.
All right, Gabby, you get
Fire away.
We've got Varus. We've got Seraphine. And we've got Zaya.
Yeah.
Oh man.
At least I'm
Dude, Lambo
honest
looks
in
tough
where
there.
I'm getting my intel, you know?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I do think that the damage share percentage, which is probably the one that stands out the most for most marksmen, probably influences or is influenced based on the multiple Seraphine picks, because he is willing to play an enchanter for the team and play a lot of utility rather than, you know, being a hard carry. But the fact that his flexibility is so beyond both sides of the coin is awesome to see, and is also pretty unique. But this does mean that our halftime show segment has come to a close. Thank you so much for participating, and also thank you, Cubby, for being such a good sport and letting me use your face multiple times throughout this segment.
It's fine. You know, you know what it is. It's content. I don't know. Thanks for bullying me. Thanks for trying to build up a dating profile for me on the show. I don't know what's going on here, but you know.
I think those photos should be the
Float your
only
boat.
one you put on any dating reel.
Yes.
I know you have all these fancy ones from like, you know, on the LCS and like in the studio for collegiate and stuff, but no, you don't need those.
Yeah, I mean, Gabby knows after
He'd
you know,
look grounded,
casting
you know?
the finals for CLGC, it's like I could have grabbed photos from there, but I was like, no, I gotta get the ones of Cubby behind the
ones.
scenes, real Cubby. Anyway,
Yeah, the fun ones. I mean, you missed out on the podcast one because we have had some good times on there.
We have
and
had some good times.
Just
on the
sinking
podcast.
into the back of the couch, just like being bullied by Mark. That's the comfort zone, you know.
Well, I hope your comfort zone is casting the hell out of this last game, because
Yeah,
have a good time, y'all.
yeah. Let's do it.
Ooh, excited to get into this last game. Actually, I'm going away for a week for a passion project. So this is my last game until around week 8 of LCS or so. So let's enjoy
Good one.
Cubby. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. I always love casting with you, and it's been a banger so far, even though game 1 was one that seemed Fear dominant despite the upticks in CLG in the mid game. I am still stoked to see what comes through here in game number 2.
Now, always like when you join us and, you know, come prepped for NACL. I know we have a ton of games to catch up on, but it's been nice having you. And enjoy whatever that... I'm looking forward to hearing what that is, so should be fun. But at the moment, hopefully our two teams send us off on a high note as CLG. This could be an important game for seeding. Going into today, when I pull up my notes, we had a 3-way tie for 4th. With all our teams at 18 and 10. Also, they had the same record when it comes to 2-0s, splits, and 0-2s. So again, CLG, if they are able to split, that could be significant in the seeding and who they face moving out throughout the tournament. But at the moment, looks like CLG is going to force Fear to take Xayah without Rakan if Manui still wants that.
I love when picks like Rakan come back through in that way when very specifically paired with Xayah, because you can always try and get that bot lane in totality or deny a portion of it from your opponent. And Rakan has actually paired with other bot laners very well as well, just because of the engage that you can offer and some of that utility. So response from that lock-in for CLG. Fear bring out the Gragas as the first pick. That was reversed previously as Gragas was locked in first, I believe, in game number 1. But then now Fear still making sure they want to keep with that Xayah for Manui.
I will say, I think it's a little... I know that Gragas for this team, Faisal really likes Gragas. He's a very good Gragas player. I expect this to be a 2-way flex and maybe 3. I don't know how much time Shochi's been able to put on it mid. As I expect a lot of our teams to at least work on Gragas to be a 3-way flex. But as you called out, Gabby, the fact that Rakan can synergize with some other marksmen, we have it paired up with the Ezreal, so that will open up Rakan to roam quite a bit. And Breezy's Rakan, it is really good. It's one of his better champions that I think Breeze is able to play, pull out. We've already seen him play really well on the Rakan already, as it's actually 5-0 this split, and this will be his 6th play, which is now his most played in Challengers.
And definitely going to be looking to make an impact on this squad to set up picks like the Viego coming through for Kevy. Kevy just piloted this pick in a victory.
Yeah, it was him and Copy that were able to use that to take down C9 in game 1 yesterday. So, again, early game aggression for CLG. This is a team that loves to play up, play forward. They play well. We saw some of the creativity with how they were able to come back when they did not get the lead they wanted in the last game. But this time around, sticking to their go-to strat and trying to find a better lead this time.
Yeah, Lulu now on the opposite side. Haven't seen a Lulu all day, but with the Rakan taken away, still somebody that can offer shielding, additional poke alongside Manui here down bot and making their way through the remainder of the bans. But I always think that champs like Viego are really fun to watch, because even though he takes a bit of time to get off in the fights, you really want to be able to get that first kill to get those resets and really collapse upon them. Junglers that know how to play him definitely have a good time in doing so when set up right.
Well, we have a lot of mid laners. I think we're going to have mid laners be targeted here by Fear, as that Rise being taken away from Copy. That's definitely a target. I actually want to see if they get rid of the Zoe too, as that was the combo they used to beat C9 in game 1 yesterday. And Syndra, it was Syndra Kassadin that they banned out in the last game away from Shochi to try and help Copy with that pool. Curious if we see that again here, maybe setting up for what could be a LeBlanc, but expecting aggression mid to pair up with that Viego.
Yeah, well, what is available at the bottom of the bucket once they get through these bans. You know, kind of the way the draft has worked out with seeing who is going to get the better setup for their mid laner. Fear eliminating LeBlanc as a possibility as Copy now multiple games in a row. While it wasn't a victory for CLG in game 1, truly an impactful pick in the fights they did win on the pick also alongside the Viego prior. So Copy will need something else to be able to scrap with alongside his jungler, whereas Perry bringing in that Vi here. 5th pick for the split in NACL and wanting to bring that ultimate threat to the lanes.
It's a way to chase down Ezreal, which could be big, and also you can get through Recon Charm with that Unstoppable. So, like the pick, we did tease that we know Faisal specifically really does like that Gragas. Speaking of picks the players like, Jenkins on the Rumble. This is something that we've seen Jenkins pilot once already. It was a loss against 100 Thieves as Snipers Jax took over that game. But we'll see if Jenkins can utilize that Rumble. It has a lot of push into the Gragas early. So, again, aggression is the key for CLG as they want push everywhere except for bot. And I would not be surprised if we get a Zoe from Copy. He is forced to blind. We will see what he wants to go with.
Well, and even thinking with what's come through so far, that Rumble, you always have to consider the equalizer in the fights, especially when you have a lot of those jungle skirmishes. We just came off of a game that was quite potent with them. So looking out for Jenkins, who had some great positioning with the explosive cast on Gragas, and I'm now sure will do something similar with the ultimate here with Rumble. But it's the Akali also for some of that additional damage threat alongside that jungle position for CLG, with Fear rounding things out with the Scion.
I really like Scion here. I think it's a big stat check that might prevent Kevy from getting more resets. And also, you have a good matchup into the Rumble because you can stat check him earlier. And Gragas can neutralize Akali mid. So that question I had for Shochi, are you ready to pilot Gragas? That's been answered. Will be Gragas mid. I think Fear actually, with that draft, that switch up, I already said, how much Faisal likes Gragas. I don't know if CLG was expecting this one, because I think this actually really throws a big curveball at CLG. And again, they're on the back foot in draft and really have to get a lead early.
And when you're thinking about that, Cubby, gonna ask you again for the last time of the day. It sounds like you're favoring Fear. If
I'm Fear favored, for sure.
Fear favored. You think that they're going to be able to wait this out and they juked them a little bit with how they approach the draft?
Yeah, I don't know if Rumble is going to be able to move Scion. I think that's a big key. I don't know. Scion could get dove early. We'll see if that's actually a strategy that CLG wants to go for. But again, CLG, early pressure, name of the game. We'll see if they can pull it off.
It's something that has worked for them in many games to get them the reputation that they have as a strong contender within the NACL. But this is their last chance to execute in that capacity in the regular season before they hit playoffs. Because remember, folks, CLG and Fear, their last matchup, their last time to try and push the other one out, lower in the standings, and Fear have a chance to officially surpass CLG in the standings at that.
And I mean, that would be so huge for Fear. Again, with the 0-2 that Golden Guardian suffered today, a win here would put Fear at 20 wins, which means that GG, they have another series to even that up, but they'd have to win both games. If not, depending on what happens with the other stream, we could have a provisional team as our 3rd seed. I don't think anyone would have had that on their bingo card when we started Challengers 7 weeks ago. This split, but Fear trying to make it happen, win 66% of their games. Very, very impressive. Again, a team that even talking with Copy, he had respect for. Like, he played with Trevor when Trevor had the sub in last year, said, hey, these guys are smart. Like, Perry 3-0'd us, like, to go to PG finals too. Like, we have respect for this team, but it still is really impressive what they've done, and definitely an opponent that CLG and Copy respects, and rightfully so.
It does feel like there's usually one provisional team that kind of sneaks through as that big contender against a lot of the Challenger previously Academy squads, whether in Proving Grounds or a lot of these different leagues. So Fear establishing themselves as that. And players like Trevor, I know that one of the big proving points for Trevor into this season is, despite being 27 years of age, which, is crazy when people are talking about that being old, that you can still have this mechanical ability, you can still grow. It's something that we're seeing in the LCS too. I'm amused by the fact that his name is Trevor, and then Stixay's name is also Trevor, because there's that similar storyline around Stixay. There's this belief, because of just the age of esports, that people have, that as soon as they hit a certain age and you stop seeing their improvement to some degree, that it can never go up from there, that they are already capped. But now we're entering this age of proving that that's not the case. In other esports outside of League of Legends, we have seen that disproven, and now finally getting this wave of that now here in League.
I know that talking with Trevor before, he said, hey, it feels really good to, shut people up, prove them wrong. And he doesn't want to just show they can compete at this level now, but also in the future. As, of course, this team looking towards playoffs to be a legitimate contender.
We'll have to see if they can pull it off in this game number 2. Feeling good after the first one. And top is where they will first bring that attention onto Jenkins. Far pushed up, going towards Kevy. Kevy here to put down the reins, going and hiding as much as possible. So no kill acquired, flashes executed by 3 of the 4 that weren't involved. And now down on bot side, the 2v2 getting a little dicey. The exhaust onto Meech. The heal popped as well. Manui flashing away, but Meech gets it. Both of the bot laners taken out, and it's just support standing.
I think it's worth it, though, for CLG. Meech has TP'd. He actually got the kill, whereas Manui did not. So really well done by the bot lane of CLG to get a small advantage, get a replay. So Manui, he doesn't have the rip yet. And he's hitting the wave. He's stepping up to try and get that level 3. Oh, I guess he did have the rip. But he uses the rip to make sure he dings the level 3. So Meech knows he can go forward. He's not actually at threat of Manui and that big E that Zaya's looking to prep. So well done.
Coach. Trades of the damage dealers, but First Blood getting that additional little bump up. The aggression over on the top side answered by bot lane hitting that go button. 1 kill for each team thus far. Some action here around mid as the supports were temporarily unlocked out of lane.
CLG, a little bit of a gold lead off the bat. Again, very important for them. And I gotta say, Kevy, he had a big first clear. Perry kind of interrupted his to go affect that top lane. That didn't really go Fear's way. So Perry is behind in this jungle matchup. Very important, as a lot of CLG's strategy relies on Viego getting that first kill and reset.
Viego now making the way over towards the dragon side. 8 seconds to go before that spawning occurs. The scuttle previously taken by Fear. Heavy
he's going to find him.
Around.
He took the blast cone.
He's looking for it. Gets the stun up here with the Mon, the Herald Path, and beyond. The knock up, follow up from Breezy. Perry, though, manages to escape. Some nice shielding used by Trevor here to help him out.
Honestly, very lucky on the side of Fear that Perry was able to get out. Well played by Trevor to be there in time, but that was so close to being a kill. At least CLG will be able to turn that into a dragon, so they still turn it into a positive play. Well done.
And while that dragon is being taken, the CLG bot lane just continue to pressure forward, trying to capitalize upon the fact that Manui still does not have flash from their previous engage, but at least pushing out of the lane. So CLG, early pressure, early dragon taken for Kevy to start getting some work in and rewarded even beyond that clearing advantage against Perry.
And it's a much, much, much better start for CLG. I know this top lane matchup's going to slowly get more and more in favor of the Scion, but the important piece for CLG, the one piece that scales, it is Meech on this Ezreal, and him being ahead important early, as that is something that CLG can then build off of. And of course, a lot of these team fights just about getting that first kill onto Kevy. They have a lot of upfront damage. Rakan's great flash engage to make sure that you can get a lot of damage down quickly. We'll just have to see if CLG can execute. This Herald could be big for them.
Jenkins was going for the ward there, throws down the equalizer, and can actually manage to wrap around towards Riverside with Kevy coming through. The wave over from blue too, so Jenkins, it was looking scary for a moment while Perry was there, but enough damage to get them to reset off. Oh, all around mid though. Lots of damage on Shochi. Breezy here. Still, the pressure's good.
And still Kevy, just spotting Perry here, and Jenkins getting both the top and the jungler low for Fear. Kevy's actually able to get in and take some camps away. He's not only going to take the Krugs, he's actually looking at the red buff too. So what the value that Jenkins has brought on this Rumble, I know you can't see it on the scoreboard, but think of how much Kevy's gotten because Jenkins just been able to survive the onslaught Perry's been bringing to the top lane.
Yeah, even if Jenkins did die in those cases, you think, oh, okay, well, they're putting a lot of pressure up towards top, absorbing it, try and make sure that Meech can continue to scale, yada, yada. But adding that extra layer by surviving and giving this opening for Kevy, CLG, you're calling it, Cubby, much better positioned during this game. Early dragon stacking, early advantages across the lanes. Even if we are looking at pieces like that Scion for Fear to become stronger and stronger all the while, CLG, they need to find these early moments, and they're doing that.
And I think the first big objective for them will be that Rift Herald. So we see Meech and Breezy playing for a little bit of poke here. And I really want to see... I think Kevy's going to clear out his jungle, work his way up towards the Rift. Jenkins should still have push at the least. Mid is a little bit in favor of Shochi at this point of the game, but it's just really there to neutralize the Akali. CLG in a team fight with a good equalizer and perfect execution from Akali. It sounds like a reset to me with Kevy.
And Perry just hit 6 in the jungle. You know, Kevy having been ahead this time, but now Perry with that ultimate available can bring an additional threat to one of the CLG lanes.
He's sprinting top.
Yeah, previously I'd spent a lot of time top, maybe looking to double down in that regard.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that Fear's opting into the contest. Their bot lane does have first move, so that's actually going to force CLG out.
Off of it, Shelly go back now.
Okay.
All right, so now because of just that pressuring outwards, Fear, Perry up here on the Rift Herald. Kevy had elected to go and just get some more clear in the jungle and extend that lead until the moment arrives to try to hop in if they want. But there's no rotation from the rest of CLG.
Saya?
Manui. Breezy. Copy. Not overcommitting in any way. I think they're a bit wary of who from Fear could have tried and come in for some assistance. But still, Meech making sure to farm up. And at this point in the game, you saw it slicing through with the ultimate of the True Shot Barrage previously to get that damage on to Xayah. But a lot of those are thrown out more liberally when you're wanting to go for these pushes, and not necessarily for that very strong kill threat, but just some of that continued pressure in lane.
They lose out on the Rift Arrow, but it still is fine that Meech is getting gold. That is the one scaling element that is pretty good for CLG. I think it's going to take some time. Like, Meech needs to kind of get armor pen because you're going up against Scion Gragas this game, and that is actually a really difficult front line for Ezreal to get through. So that is, again, my concern for CLG moving forward, but still, 1k gold lead right now is really solid. They still have pressure in their lanes, and we'll see what else CLG with Kevy can turn it into, as I know they're going to be looking towards that next dragon to get the stack going this time around.
15 seconds on that before spawning. Kevy already in the vicinity and moving in tandem with Breezy over on top, though. Unstoppable onslaught, an answer to the equalizer from Jenkins, who's been pressuring on this top lane and getting the shove here.
I love the fact that Jenkins, too, just walking up, trying to force Faisal out. If he's allowed to base there, he can TP and get back to a lot of the creeps. The fact that he does walk up, gets himself 2 plates, and also make sure that Faisal misses out on even more CS.
Good play from Jenkins, keeping that pressure up. Kevy all the while over on bot side, starting up on that dragon, which will be the second strung together for CLG, who wants to achieve that early game objective domination. This is that Rift Herald that Fear was able to scare CLG off of prior. They're throwing it down in mid here at 11-17. It means that you can still get some plate hits, and Copy cannot stop it in the end, but still good objective control over on the bot side from CLG.
I do want to highlight, looks like we have a Rift Maker from Compy. It's a really tanky comp from Fear when you have Scion, Vi, Gragas, Lulu. Been talking about how it's tough for Ezreal to get through that. I actually like the Rift Maker here for the Akali. I think that will help CLG and Compy specifically. So I think a nice adaptation coming out of Compy.
And the way in which Copy can slice in this lane means continuing up in the farm, shoving this up. You notice how multiple members of CLG looking at Kevy and Breezy are in that stage of how can I affect the map state here at 12 minutes into it? How can I try and get some more kills? Can't connect with the damage slice onto Manui or Trevor, just some through the wave. It was looking like Kevy was going to try and find an angle, but another equalizer thrown down.
No ult.
But Faisal can't do anything about it. Yeah, he can't escape this time with your ultimate. So Jenkins, all right, I see you making them plays in the top side. See what CLG can do over on bot if they can get these aggression moments working across the map.
I mean, this was the R5 pick for Fear, where they figured out where that Gragas was going. And man, I gotta give so much credit to Jenkins. He survived the onslaught and is pretty much opening up the map for CLG on his own with his play through the Rumble. That's now a third plate. Again, think of that lead that Kevy has. A lot of that is from the fact that Jenkins survived the pressure from Perry, and it enabled Kevy to get in Perry's jungle. So a really good game from Jenkins Rumble. And we'll see what CLG can do this time around when their early game comp has a lead.
The lead intact, and their follow-up on it at that looking pretty good. Getting these shoves over across mid and bot. I think it is definitely worth emphasizing just what Jenkins has been offering to this team, because we're looking at Kevy to have a chance to keep farming up, to have a chance to really impact later and get those resets in these fights. And when you get to clear in the jungle as much as you possibly can, that sure is one way to do it. Perry not quite able to keep up just yet here on the Vi.
2 dragons over to CLG. We have a Herald that might be on the table for CLG again, spawning it a little bit, but at the moment, a little bit of downtime on the map, as it's actually going to be the Night Harvester for Rumble. Curious, as that is a lot of ability haste and more upfront damage for Jenkins.
Trying to get that ARAM equalizer down.
Yeah. Make sure it's a big one. You can get them early and often as cleavers for our junglers. Of course, Viego able to stack that up really nicely. We did see Kevy, when he played the Viego yesterday, went for cleaver into Kraken Slayer. So focus on that tank busting again, which he's going to probably want access to again this game. Give the comp of Fear.
And CLG, the way they've been setting up on this map, you can see how deep their wards are. A polymorph onto Jenkins, but still in pursuit after the equalizer. Stun up onto Perry, the subject of the wild growth, but the flames are burning pretty strong.
Wow.
Jenkins with the kill credit. CLG finding the pick in the Riverside.
Jenkins is so damn strong on this Rumble. Perry's the one that started that fight, and Jenkins says, all right, that's fine. I'll just get the equalizer down before the polymorph, and you guys just melt to Rumble. As it's a 4K gold lead. And again, Jenkins, like, the impact he's had, I think it just cannot even be seen on the scoreboard. He's had such a good game for CLG. And Fear, there's been stymied on the Rift. This is not the same team that we saw in the last game because of the play that CLG's had. This is what happens when their early game comp gets ahead.
And all of that attention that Jenkins is pulling, the deep wards that have been afforded to CLG because of the movement that Breezy has been able to make, Heavy has been able to make on this map. When it's just the bot lane in isolation you're worrying about for Fear on the opposite side, CLG feel a lot more unlocked in their chance to be able to find these picks to continue pushing their advantage. And it's a little over 30 seconds until the next dragon comes up. Fear have to decide if they want to try and disrupt that soul point. CLG, they had to give up that first Rift Herald when they were pushed off of it by Fear, but now able to acquire the second at 15:55 into the game ahead of this dragon.
Easy peasy. We see Kevy reset. He can stack up on some items, and then they can just drop this to make sure that the third dragon goes their way with mid-pressure CLG right on time with this early game comp. The dragon stack's about as fast as it can possibly be for CLG in this game. And again, no signs of slowing down. I really don't know what plays Fear can make right now.
Maybe something to try and deny. And Jenkins doesn't even fear seeing any of him in the Riverside, right? Just because of the way that he's making sure to hug these sides and they know so much more about where Fear are because of the establishment of Vision and just that pressure over to take some of the alternative objectives. And CLG, they're waiting for their opportunity to entrench upon that dragon copy sent on the clearing duty down bot.
And I mean, Fear, I think this is the right call to not contest. I will say Jenkins is on the top side. It is a cannon wave. Oh,
teleport in for CLG. Jenkins getting the flames onto one. The True Shot Barrage cuts across multiple. Perry now marked down to 50%, and Shoji burned down all the way. Perry and Trevor on the retreat. I mean, CLG find another pick, this time on the mid laner.
I feel like Jenkins just mind controlling Fear right now. Like it's another play towards the Rumble, and he's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna flash out of this, throw it on Equalizer, and guess what? You melt again. We get a free Dragon. We get a kill up top. We get more pressure. Keep in mind, Kevy has that Rift Herald, so if he wants to slam that down mid, they do have a man advantage. It looks like not going to be the call. He's just going to go farm his camps, but still CLG continue to push the pace of this game, and it's all off the back of the fact that Fear just can't make a damn play on the Jenkins.
They really can't, Cubby. They really can't. And Copy off of this next wave ushered will be able to take down the turret. Wants to stick around. There's just a couple members that you have to worry about, but the damage is good. No collapse from Fear there. So CLG, 5K gold lead, 3 dragons, a while until the next one to be stacked, but they've been doing so so swiftly. They have this Rift Herald to be able to finish off the mid turret. Meech and Breezy and Kevy looking for the angles from the jungle side. The Feather Storm response from Kevy showing up. They are happy to get that ultimate out of Fear.
And Jenkins, round 4.
Oh, Jenkins. He's trying to stay on top of his ultimate. Should be able to take down Barry. Oh, no. The assistance from Kevy means that Shochi is not long for this world. The teleport to add another body to the block, but is just gonna get popped as CLG find the focus onto Shochi. They find the hit onto Faisal. The wild growth pops on up, but CLG on the up and up in the early game and beyond.
I didn't even realize Copy found the Shuriken flip onto the TP, and he followed it all the way down here as he wanted to get in on the action. Is this just the Jenkins show? I mean, we were hoping for a fun last game. I will say I don't think this is the closest game, but at least it's fun seeing a Rumble do things like this as Jenkins. I don't know if he's been watching any LPL. I know Sean Jay's playing a lot over here at OMG as we're going to see Copy. This is my favorite play in League of Legends. Just take the Great Journey over. Yep. I don't know what song we can backtrack to this, but it definitely deserves something. As Copy just wanted to help his friend Jenkins. He wanted to make sure that Jenkins wasn't just 1v9 in the game, right? It had to lend some help.
Listen, I know you might be a little tired. You've been doing a lot this game. Let me just help you out a little bit. Throw out my ultimate and make the rest of the squad feel good. I mean, CLG just... Yeah, you said it is a bit more of a dominating game from them, but still fun to see what the Rumble can do. This is what I'm talking about. When you're in the jungle, what are you going to do to get away from that Equalizer? They cannot follow back onto Breezy, even if you do get the lockdown, because there's a whole strip of molten lava for you to try and cross. And now it's CLG crossing territory to see Shochi and Perry. The dash already used. The Unstoppable now in effect from the cease and desist. Breezy taking a lot of damage, but they're dishing it onto Shochi as well. So commonly, Trevor having to use the Wild Groot just to be able to save one of his members.
And while that was going on, Copy just picks up a casual mid-inner as CLG continues to try and make it a team effort. Might be a bounty here for Fear in the bot side, but do CLG really care as they have their soul up in a couple minutes, and I don't even think they're going to sniff out that Baron. It's just all about the Dragon and the stack coming in for CLG. Continue to cruise, and Jenkins, and you were saying it earlier, Gabby, the fact that he is a player that went from LCS to NACL. I was saying, he's playing good this split, kind of having a revitalization. This has been the best game I've seen from Jenkins so far this split. He is just absolutely blown up any and all plans that Fear had this game.
5-0-1 on the Rumble. Standing strong on his own 2 legs, but offering a lot on the team fight now that we are unlocked at 21 minutes into the game. CLG continue to just eradicate everything in Fear's jungle, and a minute to go on this Dragon. You see a lot of the hovering on this side. Breezy battle dance back over to Copy and into the Herald path. The Feather Storm used to root onto one, and then the multiple displacement. CLG, they're about to lose Kevy, who has to use the ultimate to get on out of there. Now Faisal just trying to slam down in passive mode as much as possible. So CLG, it's only an elimination of 1, but it's still them coming out on top in the fight.
They can rinse and repeat 30 seconds before the Dragon. They can reset now if they so choose. And Fear, again, they lost some tools. It's flash away from Manui, flash away from Trevor, flash away from Perry, flash away from Faisal. And guess what they all flashed from? It was the Equalizer. It's Jenkins. It's not a Fear ability right now. He's way too fed. And with all those flashes gone, I don't even know how Fear can contest the soul.
6-0-1. It was just another kill into his pocket. And yeah, like, it's not even a long cooldown. Look, already getting it ready for the next fight here on Dragons. Not even where it's going to be. Already spawned up, already targeted by Kevy. And this will be Soul for CLG in what has been
No contest.
a very dominant game from them thus far.
CLG wanted to stay in contention for that third place seed. I will say after this, they're tied in series score and also record. So I don't actually know what the tiebreaker is after that. It might be like game speed, but we'll see as, oh boy, here we go. Big commit.
Lockdown onto Copy. Teleport in for the support, but the rotation from Meech and Breezy. Copy hopping over the wall to make it to him, and then the charm here from the Rakan. It works. Get another charm with the quickness. CLG offsetting the pressure of Fear. Kevy making the way downtown. Has everything in the tools of CLG to make sure that there's no pressure from Fear. Manui on the entry, already taken on out. CLG punishing everything that Fear tried to go for. And Lulu, can you stand up to Copy on this Akali?
Yeah, Trevor knows.
Yeah.
Oh, they feed it over to Meech. Meech takes down his old teammate. And after all the heavy lifting that we've praised Jenkins for, guess what? He gets to rage split as his team makes sure that they win the fight clean. He's going to take an inhibitor turret for themselves. CLG is going to take a Baron for themselves. And CLG making sure that they have their final series of NACL regular season and in a draw.
No one can stand up to Jenkins in isolation. Gets so much of a shove over there, and two have to come to be able to push him off. CLG, they take the Baron. Only one single kill over to Fear this entire time, and now Perry using the ult, facing off against Jenkins. Teleport comes in a little too late. Jenkins has a teleport of his own here from Copy, so they can try and turn this back and continue the aggression onto Shochi. Look at them slices coming on through. Another Storm 4.
Copy.
The success of trying to get on out of there, and Shochi with the self-inflicted ultimate. But CLG, they've taken down 2. And my lord, Cubby, I don't think they see any angle in which Fear will try to dish the Fear back towards them. The pressure across these lanes just following through.
Nope, it's GG's. Well played from CLG, as that's one way to send your team into playoffs. Excited to see this team in the best-of-3 format. I think that their ability to commit to early games, it's been a consistent draft strategy from them all year. And having 2 out of 3 games to try and win, definitely something I think favors teams that do play early games. Okay, Faisal.
Well, the attempt from Faisal to get into the back, but Jenkins is still alive, and there goes down the Scion.
There it is.
A polymorph onto one. Manui taken out, but it's just a support down now for CLG. Shochi soon to fall. CLG going in deep for the kill. They get it. Now they can just set their eyes on the end of this game. A little bit of extra damage to dish out under that fountain, waiting for the supers. Yeah, luckily they got some big old chunky ones coming on down to dish up some of the hits that Fear can try and throw through. It's just Trevor. It's just Harry watching their turrets go down. CLG putting in the work to tie up this series, making it a 1-for-1 and keeping these teams locked in the standings.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens over with 100 Thieves versus TLC. Those are the other 2 teams where 100 Thieves were also 18-10, and TLC were 17-11 coming into today. So season's end, regular season's end for those 4 teams today. Really curious to see how they pan out in terms of the standings, because it does affect seeding. And also, if we're going to talk about affecting mental or how you end a season, that's a pretty high note to end the season on there for CLG, as, oh my, that was a hell of a game from Jenkins and the rest of them.
A lot of positive points you can look back upon and think, oh, this might work very well for us when we're going into playoff territory. Definitely want to give props to Jenkins and the way he was able to operate on that Rumble on a solo basis, offsetting the intervention of the enemy jungler, and then also really helping out in these team fights. But that means that is the end of the regular season for CLG and Fear. We'll see them in playoffs next. We will be hearing from someone in an interview on the opposite side of this break, so make sure you stick around for that. We'll see ya.
Well, back, ladies and gentlemen, we have Copy on the interview desk after a very, very dominant bounce back from CLG Challengers against Cincinnati Fear, evening up the series. Just to get a brief touchback on this last game. I know Jenkins was kind of the big star. You know, was this Rumble pick something that he wanted specifically into the Sion matchup, or were you guys already premeditative? Like, no matter what happens, we want the Rumble this game.
Because we were blue side, I think we had to blind, and Jenkins is really confident in his Rumble, so
yeah,
we just allowed him to pick it. But yeah, it's like one of his signature champs, so yeah, he was pretty confident. He played really well.
Yeah, it's been cool to see Jenkins pull out a lot of his comfort champions. I know the Warwick has been a crazy one we've seen this split, but for you yourself, you are the newest member of this team, and you know, coming over from Cloud9, who you just beat in a 2-0 sweep. I have two questions for you. We'll kind of go back to back. First, how was it in the moments after getting not just one, but 2 wins over, you know, your last org?
Very relieved, honestly. I was very surprised at how well we played as a team against C9. Like, if you look at the series, actually, no one was like actually individually gapping any of the C9 members. We were just insane as a team and like really coordinated. And yeah, we've been working on that in scrims, and I'm glad that we actually showed it on stage.
There you go. And considering you have been on Cloud9 for the past 2 years before coming over to CLG, what are some of the biggest changes that you've adjusted to on this new squad?
Well, on C9, I was kind of like a rookie in my rookie years, and I didn't know what style I want to play in competitive, nor I like know how to play competitive. So
yeah,
I was figuring that out on C9, and I think on CLG, I just figured out my identity as a player and how I want to contribute to this team.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the work environment and my teammates are all great, so appreciative of CLG.
Oh yeah. And I know that, especially when talking to you last year when you were still on C9, one of the things that you wanted to help carve for yourself was an identity of a player that, while versatile, you still wanted to be known as the guy that isn't necessarily a facilitating mid laner. You want to be someone that can make their own plays, can garner their own leads, aggressively find winning picks and skirmishes. Do you feel like you've been able to accomplish that better in this CLG squad rotation?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I tried to model my play over by some of the best LCK and LPL mid laners like Shellmaker, Rookie. While they have that insane laning phase and individual micro that they're good at, they can also play the team-oriented picks. So just that on and off switch and being consistent in those is something that I'm really working on in CLG.
Yeah. And, you know, considering that you've had a little bit of time now, not just in the Challengers League, but also competing in developmental part of North American League of Legends for a while. I mean, I still remember getting to talk to you when you were back on 100 Thieves Next. So, and there are still players that are coming up through the system. Some players making their debut in Challengers League this split, like Yukino and Sniper, Masu over on FlyQuest, Young debut split, who also came from the 100 Thieves Next class after your class. Do you have, if you could go back in time to 2020 when you first got onto 100 Thieves Next, what advice would you give, you know, former copy back then, now with the knowledge and experience you've gained?
That's a good question. First off, I'd say don't be scared. Just because it's a new environment, you can still play how you want to play and the way that you have fun, right? I think the most important thing is if you're having fun on what you're playing and like how you're playing.
Yeah.
And I guess second is just be confident, be vocal. That was something that I struggled on in my first couple of years in competitive. But I think letting your team know what you need and any resources you need to carry the game is a very helpful skill in competitive.
Yeah. Be assertive of what your requirements and your needs are for you to play at your best, right? Because I think that's something that gets brushed over a lot whenever new players come in. They want to make sure that they are not being a nuisance or a burden to everyone,
Exactly.
you know, and they're too afraid to vocalize what they need, but only you know yourself best. So it's, you gotta not be afraid. It's definitely a lot more difficult to ask of that versus actually
easier said than done.
Easier
Exactly.
said than done, for sure. But now that you're on the CLG squad, I know you mentioned before this interview, it's just about a 10-15 minute drive, so a bit of a different living situation and being in a different part of LA. What has been kind of your favorite place to check out? I know that you don't get that much free time in your busy schedule, but what is one spot that you enjoy going to if you get out?
I mean, yeah, you touched on it. I don't go out much. I usually just play League or anything else. But when I do have an off day, I usually like having team dinner at like any K barbecue place, any like hot pot place is nice. I can't name one off my
underrated.
Yeah, I can't name one off the top of my head, but most of them are good, and yeah, it's just fun going out as friends.
Hell yeah. Honestly, not to put shame on K barbecue, because I mean it's great, but I think hot pot doesn't get enough respect, and it should be treated more. It's like, because it's kind of the same idea that, hey, you are all like cooking food together. It's a nice fun team activity, but it's a little more different out of the box. I personally, unfortunately, don't know many hot pot places or by the names. I know there's definitely a cool couple places off of Sawtell, but I wish I had some name recommendations. Honestly, I will shell out one place for y'all to check out. Have you ever been to Hi-Ho?
I have not. I have not heard of that place.
Do you like burgers?
Yeah, every now and then, yeah.
So that has been the one place that a lot of people, especially over on Team Liquid, they talk about all the time. It's like insane burgers place. So maybe
check it out.
You know what? And especially during the off season after the conclusion of the playoffs for Challengers, we'll definitely have to check it out because
sounds good.
It's banger food. All right. Before I let you go, Copy, is there anything else that you would like to share or address today?
No, just shout out to my teammates and my coaching staff. I think we had a really good week this week, translating our scrim performances on stage, and that's what we've been working on the entire split. So going strong into playoffs, and we're gonna make a deep run.
Hell yeah. A lot of teams have been speaking highly of you in, the scrims phase. Glad you guys are getting to show that results on the stage, when it matters most. Best of luck to you, Copy, as we conclude the end of the day, and wish you best of luck in the playoff season.
Thank you.
And as we close out the interview, we're going to be returning with Gabby and Cubby on the casting desk because it's the end of the day, y'all. So we got a lot to recap. I just want to, before we get into the standings, I want to go to Gabby first. Name me a highlight of the day for you.
A highlight, I would say I really enjoyed that second match of the day that we got to have between FlyQuest and Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
Back and forth?
Yeah, back and forth. Interesting comps brought through. Definitely a lot of fun.
Cubby.
I think it was that one too. I actually thought that the turn that FlyQuest had in game one, the Spyrex Penta, that was a Scion lane swap into an Azir Penta and like a game turnaround for FlyQuest. It was a really fun game.
Well,
also the Rumble 1v9. But,
the Rumble 1v9 was kind of crazy. That's a pop-off Jenkins highlight if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
For me, the big highlight was the Hoon interview because so sweet, so wholesome, and just love finally being able to get him on the interview desk. But that concludes our day, y'all. NACL standings now to wrap things up. Cloud9, Dignitas, and CLG plus Fear are now in our top 4 overall, with Golden Guardians, 100 Thieves, and Team Liquid and FlyQuest all right behind them.
Also, TL took game 1 against 100 Thieves, so they're actually playing for a seed in the last game.
And that is going on twitch.tv/path to LCS right now, which we will be rating after the end of the stream. But before we close out, I know today was a very special themed Bully Cubby affectionately day. So we have one more special tweet to really, close out things. Breezy tweeted, me watching #NACL forgetting I'm in my Zoom lecture when my group asked what I think about the topic, and she prepared a special video featuring Cubby. Dark Passage to try and get the plates off of the crash, but he didn't get plates, and on top of it, Rosestorm was in the air.
A+.
Wow. That's good content. I gotta say, I do love my pen. And I will say, this is the last cast.
It is great.
Last cast of the regular season. I mean, it makes me at least feel smart. I don't know about look smart, but last cast of the regular season, I have not dropped the pen all year. All right, with the pen flip. So.
Oh, are you gonna?
No look.
Woo!
Easy. That's how we do it. Go over to Pat LCS.
Yeah, that's right. You heard the man. Thank you again, Gabby, for joining us as well this weekend for an awesome series of casts as well. We're going to miss you on LCS as you take care of your... don't want to reveal too much anything.
Yeah, a project. Wink, wink.
A project.
Eventually, people know about. It's fun. I'm excited.
Good luck. Have fun.
Hell yeah. Well, we'll miss you and have fun with the project. And of course, we'll be ready for you for next week as well. And for us, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the players in the LCS Challengers League. As always, go and raid over on twitch.tv/PathToLCS for the Team Liquid 100 Thieves last game of the day. We'll see you next time.